And we are back. Welcome everyone to Skyping with James and Flav on the James and Flav Patreon $10 platinum.
It's
Skype.
Staffen.
Yeah, Skyping for our
Skyping.
Scandinavian fans.
Um,
How are you, mate? I haven't
I'm
spoken to you
alright.
all week. I feel I'm having withdrawals.
Yeah. We could be Monday because what? Why?
Why can't we do it? Oh, I had a weekend away with the wife.
Where'd you go?
We needed just a couple of days, and we went to Rye, a place called Rye,
That's right. Yeah.
which is in like Kent, and
Is it nice?
it's so nice. Yeah, I mean, we've done this a few times. It's. I think it's probably quite a natural thing for people to do, to go away like just before like December. We've done this a few times. Like we went to the Cotswolds once for a weekend, just to get some like fresh air. Like it sounds really naff, but just take a second and stop.
Yeah.
Before it kicks off again, because I think everyone has the summer, and you go away in the summer, and so you have a break then, and then you just have your head down, don't you, from like August onwards, and then yeah.
Me and my missus go away every couple of months to a hotel,
Oh yeah.
mainly so we can just have sex properly because live in quite a small house and two kids around 9 and 11 can't do anything because they're too sussed up.
Wow, and
Not that they're creeping around looking for it. It's just that it's just you need to be able to
go whole
scream that.
hog. You want to go the
Yeah,
whole hog then?
every now and then. Every now and then, it's nice to go a whole, have a whole hog.
Yeah.
Really.
Because it won't surprise people, obviously, but you're a screamer, always have been, and so you just need a bit
Yeah, I
like
need to- just
we
need to
can't
let go
name names,
sometimes.
can we? But there's I can just imagine you screaming.
Ah!
How do we?
This is what Ollie sees. Ah!
I want to tell people about the thing that we both are thinking about right now, but without saying
No,
names. Is it possible?
no, it's not. Well, yeah, it is possible without putting any details in.
Basically, two people that we knew within Ball Street.
Oh, whoa, that's what you've already fucked it. Leave it.
No, it's not. It's fine.
That's
it's not
too much
within Ball
info.
Street. It's sort of within Ball Street. It's right. It's fine. We're shagging, and we used to joke about.
One of them was quite aggressive. Well, both of them would have been. I imagine it was quite a scene to behold.
Yeah, and we always pictured them. Well,
Scream.
you and the guys pictured one of them screaming like that. But I was always more. I thought it was more of a sort of. I don't know. I don't want to give it away, but more of a.
High pitched.
No. Just like a. I don't know, chilled out. I thought it'd be sort of chilled out, sort of Berbatov vibe. Not really putting the effort in, but still driving
lying
driving
back
the
like that.
ladies crazy. Yeah, somehow they're into it. It's weird. Have you ever had that? Have you ever had a mate who is just brilliant with women? You don't know why.
Yeah, there's a couple. There was a guy where I went to university with. He was like, he would pull women for fun, and I thought he was gay. Like he was so camp, so kind of. He was very confident. I guess that's where it is. Most pulling birds is about confidence, and he was just really confident. And it was like he was talking to these women, but it weren't like he was pulling them. So it's like he'd done some sort of fucking David Blaine shit. And then he'd end up fucking them. And I used to have the room next door to him in my house, at the shared house at uni. And he would often have sex with them and then serenade them with a guitar. You think that sounds corny, right? They love it. They fucking love it.
But
And what I'm getting is that actually the very corny, obvious thing that you think is cringeworthy seems to work.
I had a mate who he
rather
was
not
at
have sex
uni
do
a
that.
year before me, and he was desperate to be good with women, and then he sort of did a lot of research into it and sort of delivered that on like he would do these weird chats like where he'd bet someone, I'll bet you a tenner I'm a good kisser. And he's like, it got him to where he kind of needed to be, like
Of course,
in the sort of mess that is a student night in Cardiff. he would do that and it would work for him. But he
Yeah,
would also was very tactical. So he was an absolute tart. He was in love with, not in love with, but like obsessed with Justin Timberlake. So much so that him and 3 mates of his, who I never met, so possibly it wasn't true, but he said he created a boy band with them at the age of 14 called Ice and Easy. But they split they split up over musical differences. He played cricket. And he was just a wimp and a tart, and all he cared about was his hair. I remember walking down the street once and he asked to swap sides because he was nervous about the wind hitting his hair in the wrong direction. But the point that I'm getting to is he used to do this thing where he didn't play cricket at uni or anything like that, and he was like a slight dude, but he didn't play guitar, but he brought a guitar and those like 2 dumbbells and his cricket bat, just so that before he went out, he would set up, he would go like this. He would set up his cricket bat like there, and then two weights like beside it, and then his guitar as well. And I think he learned one thing on the guitar just so he could serenade these girls. It worked for him.
Yeah, I guess it's important when you're young.
It's so funny though. He got with this girl, and then just before they were about to start, she said, "There's something I need to tell you," and he's like, "Okay." she took she had a prosthetic leg. She took the leg off, and he went, and he said it was literally like this. He went. So they were in bed, and he's like, in a panic, he pretended that his phone went off. It didn't vibrate. It didn't do anything. He just went, "Oh, hello, mate. Oh, sorry. Do you need me to? Okay." And he was mortified the next day, but he was sort of like drunk and confused.
Didn't know what to do.
But yeah, so there's just a few of the tales of that guy. Absolute swordsman.
If that was you, what would you do? You'd just go ahead with it.
I think I'd crack on. Yeah.
You'll be. And it's not even. The problem is it for most people it would be like, oh, I'm doing a duty here. Like it's worse. It's worse to walk out now that she's pulled her leg off.
Do you know what? Do you know what I reckon?
But that shit would scar her for life. Do you know what I mean?
What, losing a leg? Yeah, might do. I think me in 2008, when I finished uni, would be like panicked. But I think me, same age, 2019, I think I'd be absolutely fine with it. A lot more chilled out about it.
Yeah.
Because the world's moved on, isn't it?
Do you see Arsenal Fan TV? They've all had enough. They've all had enough.
Have they? Maybe I need to catch up.
No, it's the same. It's the same videos from 2 years ago.
Right.
You saw the videos 2 years ago, but just different manager,
really?
Same story. But the key message from I've watched a couple of the videos.
Oh, sorry, from last night.
Yeah, they lost to Frankfurt, right?
Yeah, lost to Frankfurt. Yeah, I haven't seen any of that stuff.
They've had enough. They've just had enough of it. One of them said, "Like, you should watch. Can you? Let me send you a link to a video where you watch it while we play."
Okay.
While we play, what are we talking about?
It is pretty annoying, isn't it? Can I share something to you? Literally just a picture. Dom sent that.
Is that what he wants? Do you know that there is not
Poch at Arsenal? Could happen.
No, it wouldn't. It couldn't happen. The two reasons. One, the infrastructure, for 3 reasons. The infrastructure at Arsenal is not conducive to a Pochettino side. The fan base is way too fragile.
Explain that one.
But he needs to have a relationship with the chairman that believes in what he's doing, and that means taking out players on massive contracts and replacing them with young players that are receptive to his ideas.
Right.
Which comes with it an immediate downturn in form. We saw it at Tottenham. But the bigger problem, and will they trust him to do it? Maybe they would. The biggest problem, though, is how fragile their fan base is. We've had periods in Pochettino's reign, and we look back at it with fondness. And he's gone 13 games without a win in the Premier League. It's 3 years ago. Every time we lost Harry Kane, there was this period of not winning games. And the Arsenal fans won't accept it. The Arsenal fans need to realise that they are a massive part of this problem, a huge part, because the fabric and feeling of a football club comes from the fans, regardless of how the game has changed. It comes from the supporters, and if the mood is absolutely toxic, and you're talking about 60,000 people, or what was it, something like 23,000 last night, whatever it was, probably a bit more than that. But the players going into that feel this energy. The manager feels this energy. How's he going to concentrate on fixing problems if they know that every time they go out into their stadium, they're just going to, this poisonous atmosphere is going to seep into them? Like, what top player is going to want to play there? And
the only thing I saw was like there was posters. I read that there were posters. That sort of stuck out to me. I literally just looked this morning. I was like, oh, they lost. That's the score. And then looked at it quickly. And he was saying that there was posters for Emery out. And I was like, posters? Yeah. Like, I'm sure that happens at other clubs as well. But you've got to be so devastated. Some Arsenal fans have got to be so devastated.
Because they're normal.
Yeah, like, so I was QPR lost 4-0 the other night. And
I know, I saw. I didn't say anything.
And again, thank you. And again, so what's really frustrating is exactly what my mate Dom said about what his time at Brentford is happening at QPR, where like sometimes you play brilliantly, sometimes you'll play brilliantly for the most of a game. Like we played Fulham last week, played brilliantly for the bulk of it, controlled the game for the bulk of it.
Yeah.
But then give away just like the most pathetic goals. But we've got this whole like passing philosophy, right? And then there's these couple of fans down the road. It's the same too. Literally, the entire stand is fed up with these dinosaurs. They're sort of getting annoyed with us passing it along the back when it's so obvious it's too obvious what our pattern of play is. It's like stretch it, make it nice and wide, then create overloads down one side. It's so obvious, but they're just screaming for it to be sort of hit long to a 5'7" striker that we were playing the other night. My point is that like, the difference between the 90s or even noughties to a point with football fans is that it was so much easier to ignore stupid opinions.
Yeah.
And now you can't. You're subjected to it. One, if you read it yourself, and then two, if someone else that you probably don't think is a moron reacts to it.
Yeah, of course.
It's mad. Like, I was thinking about it the other day, like, in the context of everything, in the context of. So I'm chatting to I'm Alex later today, for the process and sort of.
Clunk.
Yeah, sorry. Wait, is it that big a name? I don't know. But he's. When I'm thinking about what to talk to him about, I think that is the big thing, is that there's this whole generation that is behind us have lived in this completely different world. But when we were kind of growing up or going through our 20s, we were trying to... There wasn't so many like voices and opinions.
Yeah.
And even if there were a few, you could block them out quite easily. Now it's not even... Even if you wanted to block those out, you've got another like million people going, make sure you look at this. So it's tough for football fans.
On my Twitter, of course, yeah. And on Twitter, I've like anybody who retweets, even if it's someone I like on Twitter, anyone who retweets something Arsenal related or an Arsenal fan giving it, just get muted. Everyone gets muted. I don't want it on my timeline. I understand Twitter's engineered it so it appears, but everyone's getting muted. So.
But it's a really I want to say unhealthy thing, but it's a sad thing that what is going to happen with people turning on social media and stuff like that is that everyone's turning in on or away from a good thing, which would be being open. But it's almost like people become too open, that they're then smart enough to go, okay, I'll go this open, but once I get here, I'm getting all this mess that I don't want anymore. So I'm going to become even narrower, and that's not the right answer either. But I think it's a real problem for football fans, football clubs as well. Because going back to your point, football fans are the decision makers. It's true. Like if there is a big enough wave, then it will get the job done. That's why back in the day, Pochettino would have had another. He would have had this season and another season. Then it would have been time to go. Like people used to have like 3 years to figure it out as a manager. And now you don't and they're starting to turn on Warburton, who's like, we've played some like really really good football, but we understand that we're playing really open.
Yeah,
and it's just like it's almost like a muscle that's been built up now in all football fans to go, well, we haven't won in 5 now.
To be reactive.
It's mad.
Yeah.
That said, he's got to go, isn't he?
He's got to go, yeah, he's definitely got to go. Like, Warburton's got to go, isn't he? And sick of him.
Yeah.
No, the thing is that also weird thing about Arsenal fans is I would never beg and clamour for an Arsenal fan to come, or an ex-Arsenal player, or an Arsenal manager to come to my football club. Like that would be the biggest humiliation for me.
Is anyone doing that?
Arsenal fans.
Are they?
On Twitter? Well, just your Dom just sent you that picture of him in.
Yeah, I'm not sure he was saying he wanted him. I think he was just saying.
I'm sure he wants him. I'm sure he wants him. I'm sure every Arsenal fan on the sun wants him. But
I'd love to hear the spin on that. You know, like you to a point had to do it for the pod last week. You've got no choice. You like all the shit that you said about Mourinho, which is obviously tongue in cheek at the time.
It wasn't really. I was completely convinced he was done.
Right.
Now I'm convinced he's going to win us the Champions League.
But that's the spin is like that would be fascinating. The spin on Arsenal fan TV if they got Pochettino.
But it's just that no one believes them when they just say it's ammunition. It's banter, isn't it? It's just, you say whatever you can to hurt the other opposition. You don't believe any of it. Like there's no chance that anyone on Arsenal fan TV has a modicum of intelligence about football that would make any difference if they became the manager of a football club. All they're doing is defending themselves against fans. But the conversations fans have, like this is sometimes I find it a bit stupid when we're on Jaffin, talk about tactics and what's going wrong at a football club. Like we have the first single clue about what's going wrong at a football club. Like we most of us can't look at a football pitch and understand truly what's going on and what the manager has laid out. We have an idea, and generally it's about the style of play and the formation that's played. But the individual instructions to every player, we could never know, right? So, but everyone's making massive statements about, like when Walcott, like, why don't you play him through the middle? Maybe they tried him through the middle in training and he was shit. He was garbage. You can never do it because you don't see 97% of the work the manager does, but you're still saying, I know everything how to fix this club. It's so simple to see, Robbie. Why won't they just do it? Because I'm sure they've thought about everything that you have thought about and 10 times more and tried to put it in practice on training and things are not working. But just because you have a camera and you're screaming at it, don't make you right at all. But they all believe they're right. And the same goes for us when we're talking about football. We don't fucking know. We're just pissing in the wind and hoping that some of it doesn't spray back in our faces.
Well, the thing I would disagree with that is, you know, there's a reason why. What I'm always interested to see is pros, when they finish playing, they come out of the game, and I'm expecting something a bit more nuanced or a bit more not black and white.
Yeah.
And it always goes back to the idea of all the same comments kind of continue, or like, you know, they've stopped running for them or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
And so if they're still doing that and they're falling into the trap just as much as football fans are, then maybe there are things that can be seen and can't be seen. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do understand. It's just
I don't doubt. Like for example, you know, come back to QPR for a second. I guess again is. The thing with us is that we're playing this like open way, so you then go, okay, we'll change the style a little bit, or make the decision to go longer a bit earlier, or on occasion or manage the game a little bit different. All those things are valid points.
But they're points, but they don't mean anything. They don't mean anything. You don't know that he hasn't been trying to do that. You don't know anything. You don't know about the player's mentality before going in there, who's feeling low. Lacazette might have gone to Emery, and gone.
Such a name there, fuck.
Yeah, might got and said, look, I've got a strain. I've got a strain on my leg, right? I'm not going to be able to play. The only option was bringing Torreira on, which is one of the things they go mental about. They needed a goal, they brought Torreira on or whatever.
Right.
You don't know anything, and just screaming and shouting. Don't take everyone, football fans generally. You need to just take a little step back.
I think or look to understand it. That's what I think. The sort of this blanket white or black idea that it's terrible or it's good. I'm getting a bit bored about that. It being. I think it's a mix of all of it. That's what I actually find interesting. So that's why I disagree with you in terms of that. Like you can't sort of say something tactically that isn't being seen by the manager. I'm sure there's a million variables that we don't understand. That's true, but you can still, those sort of fresh eyes of that different context can be helpful at times. What pisses me off.
Helpful to who?
Well,
make you feel better. You said it, but no one's listening, are they?
Yeah, but we're creating content that people enjoy listening to, and they like the comment that the sort of ongoing thing with us a lot of the time is the mix between how much football we talk about and how much nonsense we talk about. But there are a lot of people that actually appreciate a conversation that's actually like diving into different bits of it and having a proper conversation about it. That's where I'm getting a bit bored with it, is that there are these blanket dramatic ideas that don't really exist. So I get like last time, going back to QPR, truth is we've got certain kinds of players that suit a certain kind of style. We're letting ourselves down with stupid mistakes that are leading to goals, which will probably continue to happen because we haven't got the money to buy the players that we want. So like there's no like end like formula that works it all out. It's a constant like moving forward and going backwards and then trying to move forward again. And then as soon as you started moving forward a little bit, Emery then gets picked by Spurs or whoever it is, and it carries on and carries on and carries on. I think that sometimes the sort of simplification of it is annoying to me, because why can't we just live in this understanding that Spurs, for example, have gone back to being a bit more simple in how they're playing, and they're playing Dele Alli in a better position. And
they're playing. They, to be honest, they're doing this weird. Like I've never seen, and again, like fuck all about football tactics really, but he's playing a back four when we've got the ball, but when we haven't got the ball, it's a back three, and Aurier is like a right winger. He's like literally sitting on the halfway line, and then you've got like Danny Rose left back, Vertonghen or Sanchez and Alderweireld in the middle, and then Aurier's just got a free roll down the right. It's mad. I've never
to press
to do whatever he wants to get the ball. The only time he drops into that right back situation is when we're pressed, like when they have the ball and they're on top a little bit, then he'll play an actual right back.
Right.
But for the vast majority of the game, he's literally playing as a right winger. We've got three. It starts off as a 4-2-3-1, but ends up as a 3-5-2.
You mean with the ball, without the ball?
Yeah, when we haven't got the ball, he kind of starts to set back, but it's still unbalanced. It's still not like a flat back four. It's like.
I wonder if that's safeguarding because he's such a liability, but he's got good energy that you go, okay, right, we haven't got another right back right now. I'm just going to put you over here. Just stay away from the goal.
Maybe, but his strengths, like undoubtedly, Aurier's strengths are his final ball. He's got an incredible cross on him,
finishing.
And he's beaten his man. And obviously, you saw his finish the other day. He's done that. He scored an almost identical goal against Leicester that got chalked off because Son was. I'm not even still sure if he was offside, but the VAR looked at it and he's like 4 millimeters offside, or those little dots that they have. He was more dots offside than the other dots.
Jesus.
So he knows he has that technique. But I know. Look, he's played 2 games for Mourinho, and Aurier's played 2 games under him, but he's been among our best performers in this role. It's don't know. It's weird on the attack. It's like this. It's like 3-5-2. That's what it looks like. And then against Olympiacos, when we were 2-0 down, chasing, changed it to a 4-4-2. A 4-4-2. It's like a fucking throwback. It worked. We scored 2 goals. I don't know.
Why did it work? Do you think? Do you think he?
I don't know.
That's like, if you do want to simplify it back, then, because I think that is the sway that he does still have, is that in these 2 games, he is such a lightning rod in terms of, like, you're always kind of the eye and the sort of eye of the storm and the eye of the story is on Mourinho, isn't it? It's always kind of about him. And that can be helpful at the right times. Like, that's kind of what the Spurs players needed, a touch. They needed it to kind of not be about how shit they are.
Yeah, and I mean the stuff that's coming out since Pochettino's left. It's going to happen so much time because Pochettino's like so entrenched in my mind as a Spurs manager. But a lot of players have been coming out saying weird things, like they weren't happy. Lucas Moura said, I was never a number 9. I didn't understand my role. He never played much. He's trusting in Dyer, although Dyer got pulled at 28 minutes this week, but we were all over the place. Do you know what the big thing was, though, right? Is it's so bad because we beat West Ham and then we're 2-0 down. And obviously your mind, I didn't go and tweet this, I didn't say this to anybody, right? But your mind's like thinking, right, we're 2-0 down to Olympiacos at home. Is this what we sold our soul for? Like, to get done by Olympiacos? Because it definitely feels like we've done that a little bit. Our identity under Pochettino was something. And then now it feels like, well, that must run its course. The best thing to do would just get someone who wins things, but you lose that spirit of what had been built. That said, so far he's managed to carry it on.
Sorry, go on.
Well, at this moment he's carrying it. He's carrying it on. He's saying the right things, and you still feel like there's this cohesive unit. I'm fascinated now to see this Amazon documentary, and God knows what, because apparently they captured the sacking of Pochettino on camera, shit like that. Yeah, it's a little bit like voyeuristic.
It's fine. Like, do you remember there was a 4-year plan with like Briatore and QPR and all that madness?
That's great documentary.
So good, but they had such free reign, and not just free reign like there in the room at the time, but the ability to be able to put it in the edit and then put it out. There must be there must be a strange deal between, say, Amazon, for example. So one, they go, right, here's loads of money, but the Spurs need the money, so they're going, do we need this? Then there's the exposure of it, which I guess is good. But then I think there's the damage that can be done from something like this. But Amazon on their end, they'll be going, no holds barred. You need to write this down. You need to allow us to be in rooms. You need all this stuff. I just find it strange.
I just think Amazon, do you reckon Amazon was like, it was like, they'd come on board, they started recording, and they just knocked on the door, like within about 2 weeks of being there, they knocked on Levy's door. Daniel, can we have a word? Oh, Amazon, yeah, okay, yeah, come in. Just hear me out. How about we sack Pochettino? This is Amazon. And, I don't know, hire Jose Mourinho? And what we'll do is, what are you paying? What are you paying Pochettino right now? Is this, 7.5 million? I tell you what, we'll double Mourinho's wages. We'll give him 15 million, but we'll pay half. You'll pay half. And it'll be great for the show. I also think...
Do you think that's happened?
I think I wouldn't be surprised if part of the money that Amazon are paying in goes towards Mourinho's wages. Not directly, not here. This is it coming from Amazon.
Yeah.
In
a roundabout way.
Yeah. Because it's a lot of money. Like he's a massive name and brings with it so much attention. 1 million people on YouTube watch his first training session. 1 million people.
Yeah, it's mad.
Usually, Spurs training sessions get watched by about 20,000 geeks.
I'm gonna have a quick look on Google Trends.
And I wonder how much this is about football appointment and more about increasing the brand of Tottenham. The Amazon film isn't ever really going to be that helpful. the Mourinho appointment could have always exploded in our faces, but all of it lends to the name Tottenham Hotspur to becoming a much more global appeal. There's still fans in the US to be tapped.
But that's what I was saying on the pod the other week. Is that the way that it worked out, the timing of it was for as big an impact as possible in terms of clicks and conversation.
Yeah. Oh no, we were talking about the timing of the appointment of Mourinho.
Yeah, it was just like, the whole grieving process, the understand. Well, no, actually, just the basic process of when you sack someone, there is a bit of time in between, and so to do it on that day and then have it ready the next day was just once everyone's done with international football and they can focus on this again was really, really weird and felt calculated to me.
Yeah, no, I understand. I'm gonna have to go for a second, mate. My fucking Ollie's mother-in-law just turned up.
Hang on, how long have we been going?
I don't know.
Wait. Because we could just wrap up, maybe.
No, hang on a second, because I don't want him to stay.
30 minutes. Go on,
30 minutes.
See how you get on. You want to come back?
Yeah, you have to give us 2 seconds.
All right. I'll do the draw. I can do the draw for the...
What, while we're waiting?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Right, guys, that's show business, isn't it? These things happen.
Hello, mate, all right.
The old mother-in-law's come in. We just listen quickly.
No, I won't go chop it up. All right, sweet. Hello. All right.
I wonder if... do you think he's a good... I bet Flav on Best Behaviour is... Well, I've seen him on Best Behaviour. He's an absolute charmer. So I'm probably doing it now.
All right, I'll be 2 seconds.
2 seconds. It's just got 2
Cheers,
seconds.
mate. Right, sorry. Oh, we've done it?
No, not yet. I was just talking about you being a son-in-law. You said mother-in-law, didn't you? You're not even married yet.
No, that was like, it's not a mother-in-law. It was, it's my missus's ex-partner's mum. Basically,
Right.
our tree fell down in their back garden. I'll tell you about it. There was a
Oh,
storm
yeah, you did.
a month ago, and that like fully grown tree, not just a little tree, fell down and crashed over into the garden. Could have actually obliterated the house, but luckily it fell a different way.
Wow.
They've basically come around to do some. We've got a chainsaw basically to saw it up.
You can have that on the old, what's it called, the log cabin.
Or a bit of a home win. No, I'm not even doing it. Yeah.
So yeah, look,
I
I'm
don't
just
trust
looking
myself.
here. I don't know if can I share on Skype? Can you share a screen on Skype? I don't
try.
think you can. Doesn't matter. Anyway, basically I don't know how to do it, but you can see from like day one, Mourinho's always, even whilst he's out of work, is getting more clicks than Pochettino up until November the 18th when he gets the sack, and basically the line is like to here with Pochettino, but the next day when it's Mourinho getting it, it's that.
Yeah,
it's huge.
Well,
it's a huge spike.
is this if you go on Google Trends?
Yeah. So
Where do you type it in?
sorry, yeah, I've typed in Jose Mourinho, then Mauricio Pochettino over the last 30 days, and for the bulk of that, Mourinho is still getting more clicks than Pochettino, who's a manager of, a huge club and under pressure. So the power that comes with Mourinho, the attention. Have you found that with the? I imagine you have. You found that with the pod already, right?
Yeah, our podcast after he got appointed was up by about 30%.
Wow. Which is kind of understandable, but it'd be interesting to see. Because we saw it with Sam Peoples, and I think all of those United channels, that having Mourinho there is obvious. I mean, look, Man United is a huge club regardless, but him and his provocative style is always kind of like the Eric Dyer thing. That was old school Mourinho in terms of, right, I'm going to come in and what's the first thing I can say and make it about this. Let's make it about this. He definitely goes away. It's the same process. He goes away and goes, right, what am I making this about? And it all worked out because they got the victory, but he's trying to be this sort of humble, nice bloke. But when they start losing, can he resist the temptation to make it
Yes,
about
him.
other nonsense. Yeah.
Oh well, yeah, yeah. No, I don't know. I don't know. We don't know. You can't a leopard don't change your spots, right? But shit like this, you can. I think he's intelligent enough, and he's apparently had this like PR team that's been working with him for the last since he lost his job at United. An intelligent man might suggest that might assume that everything he does leads to the next big thing. Hello, how much did you hear
Hello.
about it?
Yeah, I just there was like a 10-second bit.
Um, so apparently he's had like a PR team in place since he left the United job, and that was the lowest point, wasn't it? Of his career, like leaving United, having won a Europa League and a League Cup, right, and a Community Shield if you had that. But he's intelligent enough to know that if he maintains this new sort of humble approach, that it may lead into new opportunities and new successes that his previous personality wouldn't allow. What gets you here doesn't get you there, kind of thing. Now it's just whether or not he can keep that mask on when shit does hit the fan. If things go well, if we finish in the top four this year, then all's gold, and then the second year you push for the league, because that's legitimately what I think the plan is. It's just that what we would need. I don't really want to see him be here for 2.5 years and then get fucked off and get sacked. I want him to be here for 4 years, 5 years, and that requires a patience, a level-headedness, and a calming influence over the club, not one that's just like a bull in a china shop, putting his head through every problem.
Yeah, I think he needs to. He's almost got to get through this. There is a clear progression where like Klopp had a lot of credit in the bank, but the first season, or 7 months, did okay. Then you saw the progression the year after, but the defense wasn't good enough. Then the year after that, you get Van Dijk in. Then summer after that, you get Alisson in, and now all of a sudden you are clearly title contenders. For Spurs, it's the opposite goes with Solskjaer, is that he kind of had it kicked off and he thought, right, okay, we're moving in the right direction here, but then he's sort of not been able to put together a team that he thinks is, or if it's his fault or not, I don't know, but is capable of then again keeping the story going, keeping it moving forward in the right direction. I think Spurs have more. If they do start to sort of spend the money, they've still got a lot of players that are young or still in their prime, or even the older lads in terms of, say, Alderweireld and Vertonghen. They've still got years left, haven't they?
Yeah, to play. I mean, for Vertonghen, it feels like he's the miles are running out with him.
Right.
Alderweireld still looks as fresh as he always had, and Eriksen, by all accounts this morning, has agreed a deal with Real Madrid anyway.
Right.
So, out of the three, you've got Eriksen who's disinterested, Vertonghen who's kind of breaking down, or maybe he isn't breaking down, but he wasn't playing for Pochettino.
Yeah, because there was all the stories around him, wasn't there, as well? But I think also you might have. That's the thing about the squad for Spurs. Like, can he stay for another 4 years and be the second? Be the substitute choice. Like, if you bring in the right players in the right spots, then it can. The impact of one player in a team is huge. It is, because it changes the dynamic and the cohesion of every single other player in that team. So a couple of moves, and I think you would back Mourinho in terms of the recruitment for most things. I think generally he does get it right. You'd think that you could move, that story could happen, but I think you need to get to this year and be fourth ideally. I think, which is going to be tough actually, because Leicester looks so strong.
Yeah, it will be tough, and Chelsea. You just hope. I don't think Leicester would be a problem. I think Chelsea may have the problem. In the inexperienced coach, winter months, a lot of games to manage, young side. maybe they'll fall away, and maybe Spurs will be able to create a run of form that would put huge amounts of pressure. It requires a massive effort from Spurs and huge upturn in form. You're talking not just beating the teams like Bournemouth at home, but also beating Man City at home, Liverpool at home. It requires that level of performance at the end of the season. What's wrong? Why's your face?
I just went. Oh, just go on BBC Sport. Emery sacked as Arsenal manager.
Oh, right.
Shit, son. Oh my god. Unai Emery has been sacked as Arsenal manager after 18 months in charge. The Spaniard, who previously led Paris Saint-Germain to the French League title and won 3 Europa Leagues, blah, blah, blah. He is to be replaced on a temporary basis by assistant and former Arsenal midfielder Freddie Ljungberg. Arsenal said the decision had been taken due to results and performances not being at the level required. Wow.
I'm not surprised. What,
November, man. November, they go, don't they? They go one by one.
Who are they going to get in? Is he replaced by Limburg indefinitely?
No, on a temporary basis. That's
okay.
Amazing. I tell you what, I'll clip this up. I can put it out on the channel maybe this week. So go on, give us your reaction. Literally just seen it. Emery's gone. What do you think?
Well, they haven't won a game in 8, so I'm not surprised. Had to go, really. Lundberg in charge, which I know nothing about. 23, under 23s, I think. It was just, they've been so poor, and he was forcing their players to do things that they weren't comfortable with doing. You had them playing out from the back with players that aren't capable of doing it. You got Pepe, who's spent a huge amount of money on, who's done nothing and probably been played out of position somewhat. I heard someone on Arsenal fan TV say that. They just looked abject, and they're only going one way. And other teams around them are changing their managers, like Spurs. We changed our manager, be proactive.
Do you think there's an element of that? Is that say Pochettino hadn't happened yet? It's almost like once one goes, then this merry-go-round or sort of this ripple effect can happen because it can all kind of move round. What? Or I don't know, or they sort of led the way with that. So it's like, it's okay to do it now. You're not the unstable team. There's actually a load of us here because this is the time. November is like, and I think I was listening to a podcast and someone was saying that it's almost not as reckless as you naturally would think it is because it's understandable that you set up the best way you can, then you get to November. And by that time, you have had a decent run of games to figure out if things are working or if things are not. But you've still got enough time to get it right in terms of the rest of the season, which is obviously what you've done at Spurs.
Yeah, and look, when you're losing games that you in a fashion that you shouldn't be losing them, then something's not right. It's really, really hard to understand what's going on behind the scenes. But form generally tells you everything you need to know. Performance is really key as well, because sometimes the form, the results are there, but the performance is like, how are you getting this over the line? Kind of like Spurs in the run up to the end of last season is, we got some good away wins, but they were by the skin of our teeth. You think of the beginning of Tottenham's downfall was actually the 2-1 win away at Fulham. Harry Winks scored that last minute goal, right? That was, it's such a cliche to say, but papering over the cracks because the performances weren't there. The results were there, the Champions League results were there, but performances probably weren't. And it's at that point where as from a fan's perspective that something's not right. And losing 2-1 at home to Eintracht Frankfurt is unforgivable, really.
Yeah, so they've been having a struggle in their league, and Eintracht Frankfurt, but I think it's obviously a broader thing than that. That's the final nail, and it allows them to go. They're probably already looking for other people. I think David Ornstein was talking about how they were already sort of starting to put things in place, that they were looking at who would be the next guy. I've got the odds here in terms of the next permanent manager, but I was just looking at the table here. I was going back to that point of being November, 13 games so far, and 8th, 9th, and 10th in the Premier League is Arsenal, Man United and Spurs. All three have won 4 games this season. So Arsenal only on 18 points. So before talking about the next permanent manager, this is what's probably terrible about the just a huge amount of swathes of opinion and pushing forward the sort of the story of any football season is that so Mourinho's gone, who's their team? Sorry, not Mourinho. Pochettino's gone. They're in 10th. Emery's gone in 8th. Sorry. So Solskjaer, what's going to be really interesting over the next 4 or 5 games is how Man United do and if he can kind of survive it.
I don't
unlike
think
the other two.
They don't survive. He doesn't survive. Like if he survives the end of the season, he needs to get into the top 4, which means a huge turnaround in form and beating big sides. Same with Spurs.
But so Man United's next few fixtures: Aston Villa at home the weekend, then Spurs obviously next week, then Man City, then Everton, then Watford after that. They've got a decent run after that, but
it's not. It's a decent run doesn't mean anything when your team's not you're not playing right. Arsenal had a decent run. Look at the results they've got.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. But I think that's you can always see that's the, like I said it with Pochettino. I thought I was more. I mean, I just came out of my head, but I thought, all right, Solskjaer's next now because that's what everyone's going to be talking about because that's the sort of salacious story that's available. Do you know what I mean?
Do you think will go to Arsenal then?
So with Arsenal, here are the odds. Favourite is your boy, Nuno Espirito Santo.
Yeah, that's who I don't want them to get. Where's Pochettino, out of curiosity?
Pochettino, wow.
Is he even on there?
No. Oh, no, sorry, here's his 4th favourite. 11-1.
So there'd be 2 things there, right, with Pochettino. We'll talk about Nuno in a second, but with Pochettino, there'd be 2 things. One, he has a clause in his settlement, which means he can't manage another British club for something like 6 months.
Yeah, or he doesn't get money, right?
Or he doesn't get the money. So what would have to happen is if Arsenal wanted to appoint him, they would have to pay. They'd have to pay Pochettino 12.5 million to appoint him, or Pochettino would have to waiver his fee altogether, which I can't imagine him. £12 million a lot of money, just to manage Arsenal. It's not like I'll turn down £12 million or manage Arsenal. I don't know. I could go to Bayern Munich for nothing over there. So the other thing is he's gone on record so many times as saying he would never manage Arsenal. He couldn't manage Barcelona. He couldn't manage Arsenal. So I wouldn't get too excited about that. Nuno though is exactly the appointment I would want as an Arsenal fan. He's fresh to the league. He's seen what he could do with Wolves. He's literally turned Wolves into a legitimate Premier League side that most people really don't fancy. I don't want to go and watch Spurs play Wolves because I feel like they're going to beat us.
Yeah.
So he's done that, and with a bit more sort of support and financial backing, then maybe he could take Arsenal on to the next level. The problem is, right, and I've seen it with Spurs so many times, getting someone to take you from mid-table mediocrity to European football is much easier than to where Arsenal fans want to be. And Arsenal do not have the financial might to compete with the rest of them anymore. So he's going to have to get more out of these players than they're perhaps on paper capable of delivering. So, for example, look, Arsenal and Liverpool on a different level, aren't they? Man City and Liverpool on a different level. Arsenal and Tottenham are earning. We're going to be turning over close to 900 million this year, which is 300 million pound more than Arsenal. Arsenal's reached their ceiling of how much they can generate they can't keep charging their fans more money to go in. So they're in a tricky situation. And
why aren't they generating more money?
Because they've had the stadium 10 years. They've maximised their profits out of the stadium. They've done everything they can. They can't really add other revenue streams to it. So
they need that Champions League money. Is that what you mean?
They need Champions League money, but there's six teams that can qualify. Certainly 4 teams better than them in Leicester, Chelsea, Liverpool, and you would say Tottenham now with Mourinho.
Possibly, yeah. I think so. In terms of this job, in terms of who wants it, I think often it's about what's in it for the manager. And so in terms of Pochettino, I just do not see the point. What is the point in going to a place where you've not got this sort of love or credit in the bank? There's not a nice feeling there. You're not moving up in your career. You've just got sacked from a team that that was in the Champions League that got to the final.
If you felt bitter about it, it's the only way you would do it. Is you'd want to.
There's no way. There's absolutely no. And you wait.
Sorry, Jim. Sorry, mate. Sorry. It's all right. Sorry. Are you all done?
I've done as much as I can. I've used the tank of fuel. So.
All right, sweet. Thank you, mate.
But we'll come back and split the logs up. If you pick them up and stack them in there, they're your logs.
Yeah. All right. Lovely. Thank you, Lee.
Log burner in.
All right, mate. Amazing.
Put some tiles down on the floor.
Yeah, the geezer's coming around next Tuesday to sort it all out the tile.
So put the log burner in after that.
Yeah, sweet.
All right, I'll arrange that.
Nice one. Thank you, Lee. Nice to see you, mate. Take care. Sorry.
Yeah, for Pochettino, it would be madness for him to take it, because if you just sit down and continue to count your money, you can have a Bayern Munich job or a Real Madrid job.
He doesn't.
It's just there's no status sort of increase that comes from him taking a job. So no way that works for me, right? Then if you look at the list, like which managers would see that job and see it as worth it, right? So here's a long list, because I think there's quite a few names here that would fancy it. So Espirito Santo's one. He's the favourite at the moment. Ljungberg would obviously take it because it's a good opportunity for him. Arteta, I think that's a job that's going to happen at some point, but does he want to take it now? Allegri, if you're an Arsenal fan, you'd be delighted with it, but does he want that job? I don't think it's a job that you walk in where it's got the tools. Because that's the other thing with Nuno, is as good as a manager as he's been, he had a squad that was recruited brilliantly, that they spent a lot of money on awesome players, and they were way too good for the Championship. So it's easier to be a good manager when you've got better players than the rest of the league. He put them in a really strong, solid formation, but the recruitment of that squad, he's got the best out of it, but it is a good squad. It is a very, very good squad. It just doesn't look... It looks even more impressive because you're not expecting Wolves to do the things that they've done recently. But with the ownership they've had and the people that got involved in the club, that's been a big part of it for him.
Yeah.
If he moves to Arsenal, can he get... I think he has a good understanding of what's needed for a balanced physical team in the Premier League. But will he be able to create that quickly enough? That would be a thing that you'd be slightly nervous about if you're an Arsenal fan. But generally, I do like his demeanour. So Arteta's there as well. Allegri. Eddie Howe is another one.
I just don't think... If you think the problems are a fan base, an ununited fan base, or one that's sort of at war with the club constantly with the decisions they're made, I don't think Eddie Howe is the name, although he's a really good pragmatic appointment that would do the job and get Arsenal playing again and get their pride back. I think he'd do a good job, but because the type of his personality and the way he holds himself and the fact that he's coming from Bournemouth, I don't know if that would please a lot of Arsenal fans. I think they want a name, they want a winner, they're obsessed with winners.
I think it's got to align sometimes. So Brendan Rodgers is on this list. If Brendan Rodgers took that job, I'd be surprised because he's got the fit that he needs right now at Leicester.
Yes.
Eddie Howe.
He also had the squad.
Eddie Howe, when I look at that list, Eddie Howe is the shout for me. Young enough, but has the experience. It is a step up for him. I think you'll get a bit element of patience from Arsenal fans because you know that he can manage and put together a good team and a good young team. That is a young Arsenal squad. I think Eddie Howe's the shout.
Do you? I don't. I feel like he would... He doesn't have the gravitas.
I feel like he does. I feel like, especially for a team that's a squad that we don't know how good it is.
He wears tracksuits on the sideline. It's like he always wears tracksuits on the sideline.
And that's bad.
Yes, right. Just doesn't give off the right energy. That's the problem.
I think he's like no nonsense, kind of right. That's enough now. Stop with the moaning. Just wait a second. Let me sort this out. I reckon he'd be able to do that. Rafa Benitez is on that list.
Yeah, like what does he do? Like none of these managers guarantee anything, and this is the problem. Is
he get your defence working better?
Yeah, as I said it so many times. when Wenger was about to be sacked or was going to be sacked is that you become a normal football club. And nothing is guaranteed anymore. Top 4 isn't guaranteed. FA Cup wins. In the years prior to Wenger being sacked, they won 2 FA Cups on the bounce. Like, that may never happen again in Arsenal's history. They underplayed the significance of what Wenger did. Yeah. They were just bored with it. I got it. They were bored. By the end, they were bored and performances weren't there and everything was going wrong. I get it. And he should have gone. It was the right decision. But you suddenly become a normal football club, like the rest of us, unless you're Man City, where everything you do is a gamble with no real idea whether or not it's going to pay off, and you just have to wait and see. Like, a surer thing to winning a trophy is hiring Jose Mourinho. There's no guarantee. He's about as a sure a bet as you're going to get for a club like Tottenham to attract Mourinho. There's no one else who's really going to guarantee you trophies. And the only reason I'm saying that is he's won a trophy everywhere. He's never been to a club and not won something. The shittest club he was at was Porto, and he won the Champions League. So he's about as much as a sure bet as you're going to get, and there's no guarantee, right? They've got to change their idea about what they are and what they want, and hiring someone like Nuno Santo is the right idea because they play really sexy attacking football, very gung ho, do great away from home against big sides, which is what Arsenal need. And ultimately, it's about enjoying the football you're seeing, enjoying your team play with gusto, and accepting that it's going to take a while, and things are not going to be rosy. And if you finish 6th this year, despite Nuno having, what is it, 5 months of the season left, accept that as a part of the process. But they won't. They just can't do it. They can never do it because they've grown up watching Arsenal be incredible and invincible, and they think that that's what Arsenal is. That isn't Arsenal what Arsenal is. That was a football team back in the day. What Arsenal is what you are right now.
I tell you, Eddie Howe screams at me there. He really does.
I'd be over the moon if it was Eddie Howe.
Eddie Howe screams at me because, okay, you could go with this name that has gravitas. Patrick Vieira's in that list. I get it. Van Bronckhorst is a good shout as well. It's not going to be about the gravitas of the player. It's got to be of the ex-player, the legend who understood it, but he didn't understand it. Patrick Vieira, yes, he was a leader. It's easy to be a good leader when you're a wicked footballer with wicked footballers around you. It's so much easier to be that. And I understand we all look through that lens when you're winning, and that means, oh, you're better than everyone else. I get it, but management is totally different. And again, it comes down to just how good your players are. So someone who's been able to take players like Steve Cook or Charlie Daniels and turn them into, and time and again, turn them into better players in a better system and expect certain things, I think Eddie Howe is the shout for Arsenal.
Okay. Well, I'm fine with that. I've been less interested than less wary than if someone like Santo came in. I just feel like he's got it to be an elite level manager, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll soon find out. He is favourite. Right, let's finish off with the winner of the picture, which is next door, but you've seen it enough. So I've got every single patron here, all 267 of them. Mm. And if you would like to, what's the best way of doing this? Either I can hover around all the numbers, and then I can, when you say stop, I can stop, or you can just pick a number between.
Yeah, why don't I just write a number down?
Go on then, right, or just tell me a number.
Oh yeah, tell you a number. That'd be right. I would say 168.
168. Congratulations to Matt Simpson. Matt Simp SK. You are a gold Jaffin patron, and you are now the winner of that.
Does gold mean top tier?
Not platinum, gold.
Will he see this then?
$7.
You won't see this.
I'm gonna share this week just because
okay.
Because we haven't been able to get together. So Matt, hang on, let me just make sure I don't fucking lose that. That's the last thing we need. Matt's won. Well done, Matt.
What up, Matt?
So what you need to do, Matt,
is he a Liverpool fan though?
I don't know. We're about to find out, aren't we? What you need to do, you need to message me, and then I will send this to you, and you will have it for Christmas. Congratulations to you.
Congratulations.
There was another one on the way, which I
What?
just need to...
Another image?
Yeah.
What
Get
is
one
it?
every month.
What?
Yeah.
Can it not be a Liverpool one?
It cannot be a Liverpool one. I might have one that you might like.
If it's Spurs, yeah, it's not my cup of tea really. So
it's not for you, is it? Right, that'll do.
whoop whoop.
Wow, breaking news on Skype. Incredible.
This is what you get.
That's what you get. That's what you get for people that aren't.
Listen, if
in an
there's
office.
questions, if you're watching this and there's questions you want us to ask, talk about anything. It could be you could say to us, describe the moment you lost your virginity, and we will tell you.
Don't want to bring that one up again. Have I told you? I've told you that one.
Probably.
You know it's a disaster. Right.
Well, everyone's is a disaster. Can you imagine nailing an orgasm on your first time you lost your virginity. Like
I told you, my mate, the girl started crying at the end when he lost his virginity, and he was like, "What's wrong?" And she went, "Well, you're obviously not a virgin, are you?" And he was like,
But he was.
But he was, yeah.
Holy moly! She was crying because she was crying because she wanted him to be a
He
virgin.
was so good, and he'd said that he was a virgin.
She thought he was lying.
She thought he was lying.
Holy shit! Who's that? Who's that? Who's that?
It's
Do I know?
yes, you do.
Okay, I can guess.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I'll tell you
I
another
know. I can guess.
all right, mate. I'll
It sounds like a lie, though. I would say it sounds like a little lie.
He's not the kind of guy who would lie about
He's
it.
not.
No.
All right then.
Anyway, hope you enjoyed the Skype. I'll ask for questions next time. And yeah, see you. Bye.
What did you see there?